Welcome to part 11 of Diary of a Wimpy Kid Scholars. If you are listening to part 11, it is because you have finished your character passport, you have finished part 10, and you are on the second row of your blue plot passport. If you're in the right spot, keep listening. If you are not, shut down your computer, put it away, and pick a different center. Part 11. So where we left off, Greg's parents had just been arguing about him auditioning for the play. So we're going to pick up on Friday. The play they're doing this year is The Wizard of Oz. A lot of kids came wearing costumes for the parts they were trying out for. I've never seen the movie, so for me it was like walking into a freak show. Miss Norton, the music director, made everyone sing My Country 'Tis of Thee so she could hear our singing voices. I did my singing tryouts with a bunch of other boys whose moms made them come too. I tried to sing as quietly as possible, but of course I got singled out anyway. And here she's saying, "What a lovely soprano!" And saying he's a soprano means that he has the highest voice. I have no idea what a soprano is, but from the way some of the girls were giggling, I knew it wasn't a good thing. Tryouts went on forever. The grand finale came with auditions for Dorothy, who I guess is the lead character in the play. And who should try out first but Patty Farrell. I thought about trying out for the part of the witch because I heard that in the play, the witch does all sorts of mean things to Dorothy. But then somebody told me that there's a good witch and a bad witch, and with my luck, I'd end up getting picked to be the good one. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to pause the video here. Because you're working on plot, I want you to pause and draw a plot map of this little story that Greg just told us. It had an introduction, kind of setting the scene, where he talks about going to the auditorium for The Wizard of Oz. And he talks about the other kids dressing up like characters. So that was our introduction. Then he runs into a problem. He has to sing. And there's the rising action. He's singing with a bunch of different boys. And then he's singing as quietly as possible. And he gets singled out by the teacher. And the climax of the story is when she says, "What a lovely soprano," and everyone laughs. So, then the conclusion is that the tryouts go on forever, and they end with Dorothy and Greg thinking about trying out for the witch. Okay, if you have unpaused the video, that means that you are finished drawing a plot map in your journal. Welcome back. Let's keep going. Monday. I was hoping Mrs. Norton would just cut me from the play. But today, she said that everyone who tried out is going to get a part. So lucky me. Mrs. Norton showed the Wizard of Oz movie so everyone would know the story. I was trying to figure out what part I should play, but pretty much every character has to sing or dance at one point or another. But about halfway through the movie, I figured out what part I wanted to sign up for. I'm going to sign up to be a tree because 1, they don't have to sing, and 2, they get to bean Dorothy with apples. Getting to peg Patty Farrell with apples in front of a live audience would be my dream come true. I may actually have to thank Mom for making me do this play once it's all over. After the movie ended, I signed up to be a tree. Unfortunately, a bunch of other guys had the same idea as me. So I guess there are a lot of guys who have a bone to pick with Patty Farrell. Wednesday. Well, like Mom always said, be careful what you wish for. I got picked to be a tree, but I don't know if that's such a good thing. The tree costumes don't actually have armholes, so I guess that rules out the apple throwing. I should probably feel lucky that I got a speaking part at all. They had too many kids trying out and not enough roles, so they had to start making up characters. Rodney James tried out to be the Tin Man, but he got stuck with being a shrub. Remember how I said I was lucky to get a speaking part? Well, today I found out I only have one line in the whole play. I say it when Dorothy picks an apple off my branch. Here he's saying, "Ouch!" That means I have to go to a 2-hour practice every day just so I can say one stupid word. I'm starting to think Rodney James got a better deal as the shrub. He found a way to sneak a video game into his costume, and I'll bet that really makes the time go by. So now I'm trying to think of ways to get Mrs. Norton to kick me out of the play. But when you only have one word to say, it's really hard to mess up your lines. Here he is trying to mess up the word ouch. He's saying, ouch. December, Thursday. The play is only a couple of days away, and I have no idea how we're going to pull this thing off. First of all, nobody has bothered to learn their lines, and that's all Mrs. Norton's fault. During rehearsal, Mrs. Norton whispers everyone's lines to them from the side of the stage. Here she's saying, "I'll get you, my pretty." And the girl is saying, "I get that you're pretty." I wonder how it's going to go next Tuesday when Mrs. Norton is sitting at her piano 30 feet away. Another thing that's screwing everything up is that Mrs. Norton keeps adding new scenes and new characters. Yesterday she brought in this first grader to play Dorothy's dog Toto. But today the kid's mom came in and said she wanted her child to walk around on 2 legs because crawling around on all 4s would be too degrading. So now we've got a dog that's going to be walking around on his hind legs for the whole show. But the worst change is that Mrs. Norton actually wrote the song that us trees have to sing. She said everyone deserves a chance to sing in the play. So today we spent an hour learning the worst song that's ever been written. And here they are singing We Three Trees. Thank God Roderick won't be in the audience to see me humiliate myself. Mrs. Norton said the play is going to be a semi-formal occasion, and I know there's no way Roderick is going to wear a tie for a middle school play. But today wasn't all bad. Toward the end of practice, Archie Kelly tripped over Rodney James and chipped his tooth because he couldn't stick his arms out to break his fall. And here he is just falling. Gah! So the good news is they're letting us trees carve out armholes for the performance. Tuesday. Tonight was the big school production of The Wizard of Oz. The first sign that things were not going to go well happened before the play even started. I was peeking through the curtain to check out how many people showed up to see the play, and guess who was standing right up front? My brother Roderick, wearing a clip-on tie. And if you remember, Roderick's really mean to Greg. He must have found out I was singing, and he couldn't resist the chance to see me embarrass myself. The play was supposed to start at 8, but it got delayed because Rodney James had stage fright. You'd figure that someone whose job it was to sit on the stage and do nothing could just suck it up for one performance, but Rodney wouldn't budge, and eventually his mom had to carry him off. And finally, the play finally got started around 8:30. Nobody could remember their lines, just like I predicted, but Mrs. Norton kept things moving along with her piano. The kid who played Toto brought a stool and a pile of comic books onto the stage, and that totally ruined the whole dog effect. Here's the first grader reading his comic books on his stool. When it was time for the forest scene, me and the other trees hopped into our positions. The curtains rose, and when they did, I heard Manny's voice. And here he's saying, Bubby! And if you remember, Greg hates when Manny calls him Bubby. Great. I've been able to keep that nickname quiet for 5 years, and now all of a sudden, the whole town knew it. I could feel about 300 pairs of eyeballs pointed my way. So I did some quick ad-libbing, and I was able to deflect the embarrassment over to Archie Kelly. I think you dropped an apple, Bubby. So he's trying to make people think that Archie Kelly is Bubby. But the major embarrassment was still on the way. When I heard Mrs. Norton playing the first few bars of We Three Trees, I felt my stomach jump. I looked out at the audience and I noticed Roderick was holding a video camera. I guess they must have thought I knew something that they didn't, so they stopped singing too. And here they are. Here's their song, I Do Spy a Maiden Fair, and here they kind of trail off. Now the three of us were just standing there not saying a word. Mrs. Norton must have thought we forgot the words to the song because she came over to the side of the stage and whispered the rest of the lyrics to us. And here they are sweating, not wanting to sing, and she's saying, Whilst we rooted to our spots, she doth move on lighter feet, trying to get them to sing. The song is only about 3 minutes long, but to me it felt like an hour and a half. I was just praying the curtains would go down so we could hop off the stage. That's when I noticed Patty Farrell standing in the wings. And if looks could kill, us trees would be dead. She probably thought we were ruining her chances of making it to Broadway or something. Seeing Patty standing there reminded me of why I signed up to be a tree in the first place. And you see him throwing an apple at Patty. Pretty soon the rest of the trees started throwing apples too. I think Toto even got in the act. Somebody knocked the glasses off Patty's head and one of the lenses broke. Mrs. Norton had to shut down the play after that because Patty can't see 2 feet in front of her without her glasses. After the play was over, my family went home together. Mom had brought a bouquet of flowers, and I guess they were supposed to be for me, but she ended up tossing in the trash can on the way out the door. I just hope that everyone who came to see the play was as entertained as I was. Now everyone looks angry except for Greg. Wednesday. Well, if one good thing came out of the play, it's that I don't have to worry about the Bubby nickname anymore. I saw Archie Kelly getting hassled in the hallway after 5th period today, so it looks like I can finally start to breathe a little easier. And they're saying, Hi there, Bubby, to Archie Kelly. Sunday. With all this stuff going on at school, I haven't even had time to think about Christmas. And it's less than 10 days away. In fact, the only thing that tipped me off that Christmas was coming was when Roderick put his wish list up on the refrigerator. Roderick's wish list. New drums. New van. Shrunken head. I usually make a big wish list every year, but this Christmas all I really wanted was this video game called Twisted Wizard. Tonight,